I've seen your type in here before. You want to be a legend. Well, let me tell you, legend, there are better ways to be remembered. If you're that keen on dying in the darkness, that's your decision. But if you happen to make it back, you'll always have a table here, in the yawning portal.
Thank you. Hi, welcome to Inkwell Society here on twitch.tv/D&D. I'm Rudy, and I'm your Dungeon Master, here with my friends to play some D&D in the Noir. Kyle, Silent Yeesh, and Sig. And we're gonna play around in Eberron a bit here. Oh, my table's a little wobbly.
It's got shaky legs.
Shaky leg.
Maybe it's nervous.
I knocked over a tree.
That's the ship that did that.
That was your fault.
Nope. That was a perfect landing.
We haven't walked away from it yet, so you can't say that.
Damn.
So we are going to go ahead and get started here, run through some announcements real fast, and then loop ourselves back in so we can start playing some game again.
Yay! Announcements. World Anvil's a great place. You can go get all your campaign stuff there, including histories and all kinds of notes and stuff. You can go get it at worldanvil.com.
Using it right now.
Right there. And speaking of campaign things, The Rook and the Raven, you can get your campaign books there. It's therookandtheraven.com. They have all kinds of neat stuff. You can go check them out. Some people love putting little notes in them. Wormwood is a wonderful company. They make all kinds of dice trays for us and dice vaults and dice towers. Check them out. Wormwood.com. Then Campaign Coins makes wonderful things for you to give out to your players, little pieces of metal that look like money as opposed to pieces of paper that say money on it. You can get those at campaigncoins.com. Of course, Idle Champions is out there for you to fill in your D&D needs when we're not around. I believe Vivka's character is showing up this weekend. Viper.
Sweet.
So go download it on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation Store. Also, it's on iPhone and Android, and play without tapping a lot of things, but go and optimize your character sets and see what you can win. Of course, we've got Sig doing his podcast when he gets to do them.
Yep. Spewtron.
On
Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean.
And speaking of new podcasts, looks like Life Action Roleplay's got a new podcast showing up this week with Vivka.
Vivka, Elfled, and Liam Neary are a special guest this episode.
You can get those podcasts at
Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, most of the podcast kind of dispensary locations.
And of course, we've got a couple of episodes of Inkwell Society on podcast. The first 4 episodes are on iTunes.com. You can go catch those. More of them will be coming as we get time. And of course, Level Up Dice gives us wonderful dice to roll. So roll your dice with wonderful, wonderful pieces. You can get those from the United States at usa.levelupdice.net. D&D Beyond's a wonderful tool. Use D&D Beyond. Makes your life a lot easier. And also, D&D does great things. Like they've got a new book coming out, and there's some accessories that will support that book, including a very large ship.
Mm-hmm. And we should be finishing Moorgrave Miscellany here in any little minute.
No.
That's on, I've got the latest layout for it, and hopefully that'll be going live here maybe this week, maybe next. And then
That's Guild Adapts?
That'll be on the Dungeon Masters Guild.
Dungeon Masters Guild.
And then you guys just got to see a little Dern in action in that little promo from Neverwinter. That's a good time. Anybody got anything else?
I like your vest.
Thanks, man. It's one of my
yeah,
custom ones.
Yeah.
It's super sweet and custom.
That's the green
It
demon
feels
face.
so nice.
Sorry, green devil face.
Yeah, it's the Green Devil mask
Face.
mask base from the Tomb of Annihilation, and this is made out of the dice bags.
From Tomb of Horrors.
From the Tomb of Horrors, from
Tomb of Annihilation.
There we go.
Tomb of Annihilating Horrors.
Okay, so let's go ahead and roll the intro and play some Dungeons and Dragons. Hey. So now we're ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of a recap here. As our collective zeros, who we have figured out have known each other for a grand total of 16 days, going from the deepest gutters of Sharn and now to the skyways above the Eldine reaches. It's been a very productive, in some matters, couple of days for you all. And as part of your extracurricular enterprises, you now own a bar and appear to have possession of an airship, as well as a villa in which you are heading up to use as a safe house for an individual who is currently in your care, a giant owl that you are all sure could easily rip each one of you in half, yet needed your help to make it out of the city. That shows you what kind of thing you were up against. And then you ended up having a boarding party.
Party?
Uh-huh. There were lots of people that showed up uninvited.
They were bored.
And boarded. And then smashed your airship. That was a rental.
Not my rental.
Not my rental.
It's true.
That was Hook's rental.
And then you took it.
Yep.
Because yours fall apart.
Oh, we took the bad guy captains.
Repurposed.
You repurposed the Ice Singer to finish your mission.
Did you rename it yet?
Nope. We're not calling it the Ice Singer 2.
I don't think we should.
Yeah.
I think it would be a little obvious. So, last episode, you discovered that the shards, the Kyber shard that housed the elementals, and some of the corresponding shards around it were either absent or broken. And you needed to set down the airship. However, you were high above the Eldine Reaches when it happened, and some of the giant trees there, like 300 feet or so at their first branches, and you were able to nestle it down among some trees and give the engine a little bit of a rest. The Eldridge engine, if you will. And then from there, in the precarious position that you're in the trees, could see down that you're actually like in the path of some of the shards that were, or some of the flight path, I guess, of the Belt of Sybaris. And Grizz, your character, would know that you can see, or that you can, that some of these shards have actually fallen from the sky and have a special name, etc. And yeah, so with that, I will give us our little setting the mood, little music change and everything. So as the night falls, you all are now standing on top of the deck of the Ice Singer, or the airship formerly known as the Ice Singer.
Haven't renamed it yet.
It's true. And at the edge, holding on to the banisters of the stairs and of the side of the boat, keeping yourselves braced, you look over 300 feet down to see the scene set before you through a web of branches, pine needles, some rock formations that are all waiting down below as the night begins to invade. And let's begin there on the airship with the three of you staring down into what is quickly becoming the darkness below you.
Well, unclip myself from the captain's wheel. Dust my hands off.
I gold check on Goldtooth.
So you had checked on Goldtooth on the last one, and we'd already established he was okay. You were there. I just kind of pushed this over to the side so you guys are looking out over.
So I make sure he wasn't unconscious still.
Oh, he kind of is.
Yeah, that's not good.
But he's your check made it essentially. You're very aware that this is exhaustion, not.
He's sleeping. He's not unconscious.
Sure. In the middle ground.
Look and see if there's a rope ladder of some kind around.
So you are able to see that there is a rope ladder that is attached kind of behind the barrels where Grizz. I kept trying, like Sig was the only thing that kept popping up. Where Grizz was recently slowly placed down on top of them. There is a rope ladder there next to it.
How far down does that go?
How long does it look?
It's rolled up into a little ball right now.
I'll just grab it and throw it over the side.
It starts to uncoil, like slapping against the boat, kind of bouncing its way down, and then it just flips at the end and then stops and wiggles a little bit. Your guesstimation is this is roughly about 30 to 50 feet worth of rope ladder.
Mine didn't work.
You need a longer one.
Yeah.
Where's your longer ladder, Captain?
How should I know?
You're in charge.
Great. Go find a longer ladder then. I order you as the captain to go find a longer ladder.
Where should I look? Okay, then. I'm not calling him captain anymore if he keeps this up.
There's no way I'm calling him captain.
I'm gonna go down to the hold and see if the storage room has any extra rope and/or ladders.
Okay. What are you doing?
Just scan out, see if I see anything of note.
So what you're able to see is you're peering out there. The night's coming down, but you have dark vision. You're able to make out an odd fire that seems to be like bonfire sized. That is glowing out there, giving off a little bit of light. And then you can also see some of the reflection from different stones around the area that are kind of echoing that blue flickering light back. And you are able to make out what looks like the remnants of a camp, as well as several very large mushrooms.
How far away is that? Other than the
Depth?
yeah. Other than depth.
You are roughly, I mean, we'll just say that this is actually, what you see here is actually right below you.
Okay.
Because probably about like this distance away, a few hundred feet further, was that large lake.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what you see as you look out over the area. There's trees everywhere. There's some smaller trees, a little bit of a clearing that heads towards towards the lake, but mostly some ruins, a camp nearby, very large mushrooms, and still some snow on the ground.
So, what was this thing need to get flying again?
Crystals. We have to fix the crystal. Right now, the elemental inside of the crystal that is running this device is taking a break. And hopefully we can either limp it along, or maybe we can patch job it a little bit with some of these crystals down below. We'll have to see, though.
Yeah, they call those the Sky Rocks. I'm kind of familiar with this area, but there might be some down there.
And there's also a bunch of angry druids that probably want to kill us.
Yeah,
Isn't that the name of them? You don't remember the name of the market, do you? Nope. I'm sure Lossian remembers.
I took a nasty spill down some stairs right about that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's driving was great. Lossian, you make your way down into the cargo hold. Would you give me an investigation check?
I'll take a moment and give an investigation check.
Okay. Were you praying for guidance?
That was the moment.
Oh, I need to hear the prayers.
It's internal. 16.
Okay, you're able to find two more 50-foot rope ladders that seem to be nice and bundled up, tied off, corded, and there is spares.
Okay. I'll go upstairs.
Are you taking them with you?
How heavy are they?
They're like, they're not heavy enough to impose anything more than like a light, brisk, moist sweat, I guess.
Okay.
You're not gonna struggle with them too much.
Oh, okay. I thought they were like heavy rope.
I mean, they are, but I would, I think you can Tensor's floating disc, or you can,
I'll float them up.
It's whatever.
Yeah. Take some time.
Okay, so you bring them up. So you now have one 50-foot rope ladder tossed off to the side, and two additional spares.
Two options. You can climb down and attach them, or you can pull it back up and attach them.
We should pull it up.
I'm pulling up.
I'm gonna try and drag Goldtooth, basically get him to one of the bunks downstairs.
Float the disc over by him.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. take him down, get him tucked into one of the racks.
Yeah.
Okay, and leave him there. Okay, what about Hooks and I think there's it's just Hooks.
Just Hooks.
Yeah. So what are you having Hooks do?
I guess I'll go and check on him afterwards and see if he's still in the captain's cabin.
Okay, so you open the captain's cabin. You open the door, and Hooks is like squat on top of the bed. That nice, like, it's poofed up around him. He's torn a lot of it up and like fluffed the area around there, and he's just kind of like, do you know this was made from bloodhawk feathers?
No, I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me considering the captain's previous tastes, but is that of note? Other than being expensive?
I was just wondering if you knew.
You seem to have torn it up a little bit, unfortunately.
It's hard to pull with these big wings or these large, and he lifts up one of the talons. And all you see is like the little gleam off of the lantern light.
Yeah.
Off the talon.
I'm really hoping we can keep this chip in one piece. I'd appreciate it if you'd be a little more careful with the decor.
Decor?
Yes.
Ooh. I appreciate nice things.
Wonderful.
I'll get you a nice thing.
Thank you. By the way, we've landed? Question mark. The engine was which type of crystal is it called, Rudy, again?
The kyber crystals for the
Kyber
engines?
crystals,
Yeah.
Okay. The kyber crystal has a large fracture in it, and we're going to be looking into trying to patch it.
Ooh.
We are temporarily suspended about 200-300 feet above the land in the boughs of some large trees.
He gets up and starts walking towards the door.
It's safe to go out. The only crew member is unconscious right now.
He just continues,
Yeah.
click, 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 walks out onto the deck, stretches out his full wingspan. Oh. Woof. He starts to like kind of bring himself up off the deck a little bit, and then he catches a glimpse of how far down you guys are, and he goes, ooh, and he very gently sets himself back down. And he just starts stepping around the edge, looking down over. Ooh, there's a mouse.
I'm gonna peer over the edge and
See
not see anything. It's like, huh.
Oh, there it is. No, that wasn't it.
Hi, Aussie.
Oops.
Oh. What's happening?
Well, we're hoping to. I think we might take a bit of a rest first. Once we're ready to descend, and after
Dibs on
that,
bed.
there's plenty of beds downstairs as well. Down below.
We have to let the engine sort of rest.
Mm.
From what I understand, the elemental is not really happy right now, and we gotta let it settle down so it doesn't blow up. Oh, plus fix it. There's a crack in it, and we need some more control crystals or something in order to maintain the field so the binding still sticks there so it doesn't leave in the middle of the flight.
Y'all think there might be some right below us, conveniently.
Oh, okay. And
Hooks walks over next to you, looks over your shoulder, like just extends his whole neck and body to kind of like just peer right over you.
it looks like we need about another 150 feet of rope or something in order to get down.
Ooh.
So other than that, probably, go search around. Oh, we've got those Ashbound druids who want to kill us, but
Ooh.
yeah,
That was their name. Ashbound.
they're not. They're the ones who broke the ship, I think.
Ooh.
I don't.
Well,
I'm pretty sure they had nothing to do with this so far.
it got damaged when they bumped us.
Yes, it got damaged when this ship collided
the
with
other ship.
the previous vessel. I don't even remember the name of the vessel that you rented.
But
I mean,
I
it's
think
not a
that's
problem
when-
now.
Mine?
Yeah.
I think that's
Who
when
cares?
this one got kind of broke, but I think the Ashbound might have done something to the fire ring, which caused us to have this wonderful landing.
I don't think so. I think it just kind of crapped out. I don't know. Did you see any Ashbound run around and damage it?
No, I didn't. But they could have cast it from animal form or something.
I'll have some rope.
How much rope do you have?
How much rope do I have?
If it's standard rope from your thing, it's 50 feet. Just 50 feet of rope.
50 feet.
Okay, so we only need 100 feet to go.
Is it 300 feet down to the bottom or about 200 feet?
It is 300 total feet. You have 150
Yep.
that you've found for rope stuff from the side of the ship that you looked over, and then the 2 reserves that Lossian found.
And then 50 feet of rope.
And then 50 feet of rope.
Do you want to get some of the ropes in the rigging maybe and drop it down? I'm not sure how much rigging there is on it.
Rigging?
It is an airship.
It dawns on you that there is an opposite side of the boat that also likely has another one. So after a little bit of time and some deductive reasoning, you pull out another 50 feet of rope, of the rope ladder. So you have a total of 200 feet of rope ladder. You're still about 100 short.
So 200 feet of rope ladder, 50 feet of your rope. So we're about 50 feet of rope.
Wait, what?
We need about 50 feet of rope.
Oh.
Did you check down below pretty thoroughly?
What if we tie sheets together? Always wanted to do that.
For
I don't
50
really-
feet.
I don't really trust that.
I don't think that's a great idea.
I found the ladders. I guess I can go double check on some rope.
I guess, yeah. I'll go.
Why don't I just put you down?
Because then we still have to get back up, and you might be up here already, and you might be somewhere.
Isn't your wing hurt? I mean, we can try resting for a bit and then reapproach this and see if you feel any better.
Perhaps Lossian could help.
A little bit.
Would you like to wait until the morning?
I don't really feel terribly safe going down there when it's dark.
I could use a rest.
Yeah.
It's just dark, though.
I have human eyes.
You hear something in kind of like the back of your head, like just kind of think, we can fix that.
I'm going to bed.
I'm just gonna walk straight to the cabin's quarters, back to that bed.
Okay, as soon as you open that up, you look and you see that there's like large tears in it now, and like little bits of feather, and so it looks more like a nest than it does like the former beautiful mattress that it was.
I'm just gonna walk over and face plant in it anyways.
Okay, sounds good to me. Roll me a dexterity check. Dexterity save.
Found an egg.
No.
6.
A 6. You land with one of the quills just like right up in your nose.
He's going to be walking around just like with little tufts of feather on him for like weeks. It's going to be great.
No. What are you two? Where are you two going to?
I'm going to find somewhere else to rest. There's got to be a good few different like
There's like an open
cabins
bay
and stuff, yeah.
underneath. There's also a chow hall. You can actually see because I drew you the thing. There's the alchemy station
Yep.
where Lossian was. Next to that is the kitchen. In front is the chow hall, and then towards the what would be right underneath that is a longer kind of open bay living quarters.
Mhm.
There are also individual cabins and like a map room in the back above the engine room.
Okay. Great.
And they're much smaller, like 1 or 2 room, kind of like for
More like-
passengers.
yeah, passenger cabins. I'll probably
Yeah.
go to one of the passenger
With
cabins.
some privacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay here on the deck.
Okay.
Somebody has to keep watch since everybody else seems to be wandering off.
So, first mate Lossian, stays on the deck through the night. Grizz goes and then you go down to another cabin. Hook stays up there with you for a little bit. And then after a little while...
You're a night owl, Hoops?
Oh, I own the Cocoon Slough.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yesterday may have been the only time you've ever seen me during the day.
I think I've only seen you once when we went into the Cocoon Saloon the first time.
So, I'm right.
Yes. Which is why I didn't know if you were a night owl or not.
Yes, enough.
Studying spellbook.
Okay. Are you studying the new spellbook that you found?
Yep.
Okay, I actually have some spells for you. So you guys can go ahead and apply a long rest. So it just doesn't reset everything, but you get a long rest. You can go ahead and apply that to your sheets.
I don't think that refreshes my my Jinn or my Kyber spells.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It does?
Long rest does.
Okay.
The only thing it doesn't refresh is all your hit dice.
Yeah.
Do you get any hit dice back?
Yes.
Just one? Okay.
That's nice. I was down
Yeah,
for
at this level, you get one. You get half your total back. So, Lawsian, you received... Where is it?
In the book.
Okay, so you'd picked up a spell component bag that had some bat guano, some crickets, some rose petals, a small pearl of undetermined value, but nothing too extravagant, definitely no diamonds. You did find a spell book that had the alarm spell, color spray, detect magic, fog cloud, rope trick, and silent image.
So I got a total of alarm, color spray, detect magic, fog cloud, rope trick, and silent image.
Alarm, color spray, detect magic, fog cloud, rope trick, silent image.
Cool.
Not silent, but deadly image.
It could be. And let's see. You are able to, we'll say like during the night or at any point where you would have gone into the map room, you would have been able to find the areas in which the path that you've taken. So you can see that by the course of the map, you've made your way up, skirting the border of Droam, and then into the Eldine Reaches, and you are taking the northern kind of rim or the northern shore of Silver Lake on your way towards back east toward Ondare, in the little pocket there just over the border. Yeah, is where you're supposed to be. Let's see, there's I think the Lake Galifar is right there at the top. And so Ondare is actually, the border of it starts almost right where Thrain says Thrain, yeah. So the border of that is just a little bit farther west, still on the lake. So you're looking about being over in the forest area to the southwest of Lake Galifar, but north of Silver Lake.
Silver Lake.
Mm-hmm.
There's great ramen there.
Yeah.
There might even be some chopped human and shifter soon. So, as you take your rest, you study the spells. You can go ahead and prepare for the next day. What is your plan going to be? I think what Grizz relayed so far was that in this part of the area, there are what the indigenous folks or the rangers in the area would call Skyrock.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrock can sometimes have different dragon shards in it. And also that in areas where mushrooms grow to this size, it's usually indicative of some sort of shards in the area that have kind of enhanced or sped the growth process a little bit, usually ones that are in the earth.
I think we might have to do some digging or some breaking. So is there like some shovels or picks or something around here? I guess I'll go look.
So you can find some hammers downstairs, like mallets, like pretty, decently large ones, some with a couple of metal heads. So we'll say that you have a couple of hammers, kind of chisels, things that you could break rock with.
But any, like shovels, any like digging? utensils or-
There is a shovel.
Okay.
Being that this is a sky ship and not normally one that you would necessarily land on a remote island to dig for treasure, there's one or two shovels tops.
Okay. I'll take one.
Okay. So you got a shovel,
And then I'll
a
bring.
pick, and a hammer.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then maybe bring one or two for them if they want one. I don't know. I'll bring them up and lay them down. If
Okay.
they want one,
Sure.
So are we?
good. Or I
We're-
won't do all the work.
We're just gonna go down and get some gems and come back.
That's the
I
plan.
don't think it's gonna be that simple, but yeah.
It's never that simple.
There's a battle map, guys.
We're not gonna worry about the camp over there.
Well, I mean,
That's where we're going.
we'll investigate the camp.
That's where we're going first.
Also, it's all right down there.
It's right below us. I
Yeah.
thought it was out a little bit.
It's
It
below us.
Was.
Straight. Where are we on the ship as far as the map
Would
goes?
it be like
The
right
ship is
here-ish?
about the size of the map.
I'm thinking that you are right here off of the side of the map, as a so this is actually stretched out in front of you in the way that you see it.
It's over there. It's not down there. It's over there.
Yeah.
So, do you see anybody down there?
Mm-mm.
I don't see anybody down
Well,
there.
there's a fire, so there's probably someone down there.
I didn't see anybody.
You would also know that there are a plethora of druid sects that are in the Eldine Reaches. Some of them are a little bit more geared towards taking care of maybe, you probably would have had run-ins with the Warden of the Wood, who are actually more like your friendly park rangers that are there to protect you from things and to but has a healthy respect for nature. There are different sects that would be anti-civilization, which is what you would know the Ashborn to be, or the Ashbound to be more focused on. And while you're not necessarily sure who inhabits this area, or even if multiple people do, you do know that there's also a loose collective of some of the larger, or of the whole group of the different sects that is essentially like arbiters. There's a small group that will settle disputes if need be. The Wardens of the Woods kind of do that a little bit, but there are these beacons, which are large bonfires that have a different glow to them, and that's so that you have your beacon, basically it's a guidance system inside the wood.
Okay. I'll relay all that to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like a forest lighthouse.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
all the training I had of all the different kinds of religions when I was starting out, does it tell me, do I remember anything that would have been how this particular sect may have been dressed to identify themselves? So somebody could use an illusion to look like that?
No. Mostly, it's less like a tribe or a clan, and it's more like the mentality behind it.
I didn't know if
And
they had a symbol or some identifying thing that someone might be able to fake in order to look like they're belonging. Okay.
I mean, no, that part of their whole thing is that they spend a lot of time in their frontier regions that and can launch like guerrilla strikes against encroaching settlements and stuff like that. So sometimes they're like just on the outskirts of towns or whatnot, more in the naturey area, and some of them can look like barbarian tribes, but some of them just look like hermits, wanderers. You really kind of have to talk to them to find out what they're like and what they're about. But they would have a healthy distrust, like out of the gate, if not hostility, if they saw something of nature, like an elemental, kind of get housed or trapped or misused, I guess.
So, are you going to relay some of that information?
Nope.
Okay.
Grizz knows some of it.
Yeah. I think no matter who's down there, I don't think they're going to be very happy that this thing is powered by an elemental.
That's only if they see the ship.
They just need to look up. Also, I'm pretty sure everyone with many miles around heard us land. I'm going to bunny ears that.
Well, yeah. They may have heard it. That doesn't mean they saw it. There's a lot of tree branches in the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how are we getting down?
How are you getting down?
So Hooks is offering to help us get down a little bit.
It's true.
We're still 50 feet short of rope.
From what let's see, you're about 50 feet short, and that's if you tie all of the ladders together, and then you tie rope to the end of the ladder.
Great. Okay. So here's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loath to admit it, but we could always just take apart one of the rope ladders, and now we have, instead of one 50-foot rope ladder, we have 2 lengths of 50-foot rope. Therefore giving us enough.
Hey, I'm proud of you.
All right.
Still a really far climb.
It's a very long climb. I don't think that's going to be great fun for anyone. We should probably try and, for the lengths of rope, we should probably add some knots to help with that, because just free climbing that is going to be arduous. And by arduous, I mean a lot more effort than I'm wanting to put in.
All right, well, I suppose we should get started doing that then.
Great.
What's the scale on our ship map?
5 foot.
Per square?
Yeah. I believe I did it right.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start helping in whatever way I can with the rope, trying to get that situation.
Okay. So it takes you guys like maybe about 20 minutes to undo one of the sides and get your rope bridge thing turned into an extra. So basically now you have 150 feet of rope ladder.
Yep.
And then you have another 150 feet of just rope that
Yep.
you've tied together. So the first bit of the climb is going to be really, really challenging. Or I guess the last bit of the climb. Which are you gonna like tie it? Which way are you guys gonna go here with the?
Logically, I feel like it would be smarter for us to have the rope ladder first and then the actual rope second, because on the way up we have the harder element getting there, and then if and when we get to the rope ladder, it's easier to go that last stretch.
Great. I'm on board with how you're boarding.
Who's
On
going
board with
first?
our boarding methods?
Oops, are you going to stay here where it's safe?
Well, keep an eye. If I see anything unusual, I'll hoot.
What's the definition of unusual? Because we have a number of glowing crystals, a weird blue fireplace, and a number of very large mushrooms down there, all of which are rather out of the usual wheelhouse of charm.
Newly unusual.
All right.
There's an interesting spell in here that we could use.
What's
Ooh,
that?
watch.
There's an alarm spell in here.
Ooh.
So if you want to signal us, I could cast that on one of the rooms, and If you go in it, it'll alert me as long as I'm within a mile.
A room?
Yeah.
So, if I see something, you want me to walk away from being able to see it and go into a room?
Well, it says it has to be a contained area.
How big of a contained area?
About 20 by 20 foot. This deck is bigger than that.
Hmm.
Oh. Other options? Or could I just hoot?
You could hoot, but I'm not sure. Will we hear that though?
How loud can you hoot?
Whereas this, it silently alerts me within a mile.
I don't want to hoot right now. I feel as though it would be slightly obvious.
Oh, fair.
Just a
I'll
thought.
believe him. Yeah, he's loud enough
Okay.
to hoot.
He's a 7, 8,
It's a very large
9
bird.
foot tall bird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
8 to 9 feet.
yeah, enormous. He's got some lungs in him.
Okay. I was just thinking that would actually let people know kind of where you were, whereas the silent alarm wouldn't. But okay, hooting.
What type of? Do you have a particular skill set, Hooks?
Business owner?
Are you capable? Are you proficient in magic?
I use different magic items. I would say I'm more of a fighter than a lover. But
Fair enough.
the great owls like me are typically merchants. We usually stay in Sharn. If we are out of our home element.
Is that mountains?
I've already started climbing down.
Okay. How are you? Do you have like a like a rucksack or something to carry the stuff in?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is
All
that
right.
is that mountains?
It's here and there a little. Oh, may the more holds. Oh, Zindrick.
All the way over there.
Occasionally.
Well, let's get going. We have to get the rocks. I want to get some plants while we're here.
All right. I'm gonna double check the captain's cabin for a second.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna look for the just in case the captain has like a personal stash of alcohol in there, and hopefully some kind of small container that I can use as a flask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like a whiskey flask.
Basically.
The flask was on him when you let him plummet to the ground, but there are multiple bottles of elderberry wine
Great.
and a strawberry wine.
Okay. Are either of them on a more transportable size?
They're about like 750s. They're a little bigger than flask size.
All right. I will. Since I'm alone in this room, I'm going to defry. In there, ifry.
You feel him pull himself out of your. Actually, he was not even there because he was in your. He had gone invisible and started taking a tour around the ship.
Right.
So
yeah,
he
it's
pops.
still-
He like
Right. Oh, there you are. Great.
just materializes apps first.
I didn't realize you were abs first, of course. I'm hoping for a spell. If I recall correctly, one of the material components of this spell is alcohol.
Ooh.
False life.
False life. Okay. What are you hoping for? Do you not have the spell?
I do not have. I have the spell here. I brought it up on my phone, but I basically.
But you don't have it as a warlock spell, is right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just. I'm using that as my genie.
Okay. For your request.
Yes.
Okay.
So request that, and then offer. I'll pour 2 glasses, hand him one, and that's the spell component to the health. Donk.
Sounds good.
Great.
So I'll be back, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have a drink and then I'll get on the road. It'll be great.
Great.
He swills it, tosses the glass over his shoulder, and then just poofs into nothing.
Great.
What'd you get?
So he comes back in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. So he poofs, and then like before the glass hits the ground, he like poofs back into the other side, scoops it back up, and he's like, "I'll take another." Starts to drink it, and dips his fingers in, and goes.
Wonderful. All right, thank you.
And that'll be you'd be casting it at a second level, I think, right?
Yes.
Don't you cast it with your
I cast it with second level, I believe.
as one of your spell slots, though? Yes.
As his own spell slot. It is a.
As your own spell, as Felix's own spell slot.
Well, it's not one of my warlock spells. It's counted as a specific for my genie spell. I have a genie spell slot, to my knowledge.
I will double check it, but go ahead. If you is that going to change whether or not you use it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll let you know.
We've done it that way before, so.
I may not have been paying attention.
Okay.
But and you do know that you have Chromatic Orb and Shield on your list in general, right?
Yep.
I meant
Me?
yeah, for your expanded spell list, you should have Chromatic Orb and Shield automatically.
Okay. I'll read up on those. I don't have those spells, I just have access to them. Like
No,
as a
you have
spell.
those spells.
I just have them.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't get to use them for free.
No, okay.
But they're
Noted.
spells that you can use. So with the Gen Vizier,
Yeah.
with the spell fetching feature, you can use. It says the spell can be from any class spell list, but must be of a level that you can cast with one of your warlock spell slots.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, you can request the spell from your gen to retrieve it, and it returns after a number of rounds. You've got that. It immediately imparts the knowledge to you at the beginning of your turn when it returns, and then you can cast normally by expending a warlock spell slot. So you do need to use your own spell slot. It's not a freebie spell.
Poop. Well, I need the hit points, so I guess I'm doing that.
All right.
I get 10 hit points extra. Cool.
Yay, second level spells.
You rolled 2d4?
No, it's 1d4 plus
Plus
4 plus 5 per level.
So, but you also. Oh, wait. Okay, so you don't. It doesn't go up another one. You just get another 5.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
yes, fine.
You're right. Okay. So, welcome to your 10 extra hit points there.
Yep.
Are they? Yeah, and they're temporary hit points. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So you've done that.
An hour.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's for an hour.
Yeah.
Yep, and then I'm gonna join going down the ladder.
Okay, Lausian. What are you up to? Anything you are casting in preparation for the ascent or descent?
While he's in there busy, I'll start up a ritual to bring an unseen servant, and if he takes long enough, I'll tincture floating disc as well.
10 minutes each.
Yeah, but unseen servant first.
Okay. Say unseen servant plus, we're talking about Felix having to come down 300 feet. So I'll say that you can do unseen servant up top, and then by the time you get down to the bottom, you've got enough time before Felix makes it down to go ahead and get a tensor's disc if you'd like. Cool. All right. So after, we'll say 20, 30 minutes, you have made your way down. You are standing now. Miniatures, please.
Yeah.
We'll say that you are standing in this general vicinity.
Yes, at the back. I like it.
And
Why am I not?
you want to be in? Who wants to be?
I'm happy where
He's
I am.
last down. So he literally should be in the back.
What would you like to do?
So we don't see any living creature around at all.
Not really. Not outside of the natural kind of like fauna that's about. You don't see anything besides the standard. There's rats scurrying around, like you said. There was mice. There's probably. Well, why don't you give me a perception check since you're actively looking for these things?
I was actually looking for rocks.
You see quite a few rocks.
17.
A 17. You do notice that there seems to be a lot of crows or ravens, like the ones that you remember from before, that are perched in some of the branches of the lower, smaller trees, some of the ones that have only been alive for a couple hundred years as opposed to the thousands of years that some of these here in the Eldian reaches have.
Better be careful. I'm gonna cautiously approach the, that little area there with the fire.
Okay.
I have my unseen servant bring me a rock. Get that rock.
Just like random rocks on the ground.
This is one that looks like it may be one of the shard holding rocks.
Oh, the sky rocks.
I think those
They're
Those
the
are the
big
big
ones.
ones.
Oh, those are the big ones. I thought
they're
they were
like
little
boulders,
pieces.
aren't they?
Okay. No.
Why are they called sky rocks? Do they just fall from the sky?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Don't be under one when it lands.
I wasn't planning on it.
And as you make your way over to you were heading to this camp, or are you trying to go up here?
The middle one.
Okay.
The blue flame.
So you make your way over here. Is there anything particular you're looking for?
Just now that I'm up there, like what's going on around there?
So this absolutely looks like one of those kind of wayfires. We'll call it a beacon. This looks like one of those beacons that the different sects use as a marker to kind of help them navigate. And the different colors of them indicate how close or far from civilization that you may be. So this actually says that you are a pretty decent way away from a real city or the even maybe a horse kind of raising town or anything like that. Your guess is you're probably somewhere around 100 miles or so, even maybe to the coast of either of the large lakes.
Yeah, we're pretty deep in the woods.
Yeah, I guess I'll look around for any rocks that look like I should start cracking.
Well, you see a skyrock here. Right, you see a skyrock like very close by, and it has like the skid mark of like where it hit the ground and skid to a halt up against what looks to be the ruins of of kind of like an old religious, maybe druid circle, maybe a summoning circle of sorts. You don't possess any of the knowledge to really make out any of the, like, what kind of ruins these are.
Well, I think I'm gonna regret this, but
I'm just gonna start cracking at that rock.
Okay. So you pull out the big hammer and start doing that. Where would you two like to go?
Is that a rock there behind that ridge? That's what I thought.
There is one there, yes.
I will go to that one. And did anyone explain about how to properly harvest these shards?
No one asked.
Probably knows. Just make
I
Do
pon-
any of us actually know?
I
Or-
ponder and think if
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
wouldn't
any
know.
ruling, any discussions about this.
Okay, so Felix, let's see. Let's say that you guys powwow and you put together your collective heads to make me a history check.
One or each?
All.
I'm gonna guidance that. Give me a little bit of effort.
You can guidance yours.
I got a 9.
At the 12.
Natural 20.
Did he really natural 20?
Yeah,
23.
Did he also get a 4?
3. And my skill adds 3. So I got 26.
Okay, so here's how this goes. Walsian doesn't actually have any experience with like this kind of manual labor or with binding shards, or even like he knows what they look like in their processed form. But as you two start to recount things that you recall, you got a 9?
Yeah.
Okay, you recall from like 20 or 30 years ago of living in these parts before the war, or before you got drafted to go. Essentially, you recall, there's, you can just break these things open, and the gems are, the there's shards sometimes in these rocks. And then sometimes there's shards like in the ground around the mushrooms, I think. And then you go and you're like, yeah, but I feel like they have to be pulled out a certain way, or they have to be like, maybe there's a vein, maybe they're like you can crack into a vein of them. Maybe they don't just live in, I don't know exactly, but they should appear magical. We should be able to like use detect magic, or like maybe they'll look different enough when we get in there. And so you're able to kind of pull the good information, which is what I just said, out of about 30 minutes worth of like just going back and forth about all that.
I think this gnome from Zalargo once said they should be magical, and we should be able to get them once we crack it open.
Can't you like find magic?
Well, the rocks are really thick, and they're probably too thick for me to be able to detect magic inside it. You're gonna have to open it first.
Oh, all right.
Do you want to use detect magic?
I'll start prepping it.
Okay. So are you just going to go to town on this rock to begin with?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very Grizz thing to do.
Okay. So give me a strength check.
6.
A 6.
Yeah.
You start, and then you get back into the swing of it is a little challenging. You kind of like go to take a nice big hit off of the center, like aiming right, and you pull up a little bit short and chip off like just this little teeny bit on the edge. And there's just more rock underneath it so far. You're heading over here, prepping the detect magic stuff. What are you doing,
We're
Felix?
going to investigate the camp over there.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, you make your way over to the camp. Give me an investigation check. While Grizz, you can give me another hammer check.
Oh, there's a rock next to that mushroom by the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's mushrooms by all the rocks, except for the one Grizz is at.
What'd you get?
Another 6.
You get another 6?
I rolled a 3 again.
Okay. Clink. You get another side. You can hear it like, you guys can hear that he's basically getting like those little double hits of like when you just don't follow through. So like clink, clink, clink. You just haven't found the right angle yet. It's okay. It's sometimes you gotta like look for the weak point. Actually, here's what I'll do for this one. If you make me a nature check to examine the rock this time, and you get above a 10, I'll give you advantage on your next roll on it.
You need some help over there?
I got a 16.
All right. So on the next round, you can do your rock attack with advantage. So yeah, go ahead and roll that. So Felix, what'd you get on your a 16? So you take a few moments, you kneel by the fireplace. You can see that the beds here seem to be abandoned, but by your guess, it's only been a couple of days, maybe.
What's the weather around here like? Is it snowy or warm?
There is still snow on the ground. It's cold, it's chilly. There's that storm that's been coming in, and you can start to hear that rain, the kind of a heavier rain, but not snow. And right now you're kind of like on the edge of that. It's somewhere in the distance. You can hear it. You can hear thunder,
All right.
but you can't. There's no lightning going on right now. You can see that the campfire that was there underneath a pot. The pot looks like it was left even with still some food in it.
That's strange.
And the campfire has been snuffed out. There are 2 rucksacks, a large bag, and a couple of sacks. Looks like they have like maybe some grain or some other provisions. But you also see that there is with a 16. Okay, so with a 16, you notice that there, as you get closer to the supplies, seems to be what looks like some tripwire lining different areas of the camp.
Great.
However, with a 16, you're able to see where they are, and that'll give you advantage on any checks to move in or out of the camp beyond where you're at right now.
Do I need some kind of kit to attempt to deal with traps like that?
If you were going to disarm traps like this, mostly would probably be inside of thieves' tools. Or I would say that if you had if you had any type of real expertise with nature, since we're in nature, I would say that you might be able to get away with that. Do you have...
I have proficiency in these tools, but I don't actually have a set yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should get you one.
Yeah. Never really got around to it. I figure it's just confiscated at some point in time. He hasn't gotten around to it.
Probably.
Or he had to ditch it. He was like, oh, hi, City Watch. Cough. Toss.
Right. No, those aren't mine.
No, sorry. I have never seen those before at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would a noble like me be doing with...
Right? Never. I Felix likes his life way too much. I don't think he wants to try and disarm those right now.
You could try and step over them.
Are they all pretty at low levels, or
They seem to be around, like, maybe mid-calf. So, like, boot height. They're a little rough, but it's more about how they're placed that makes it more challenging than just, like, stepping over one.
All right. If I can see more of kind of like an angle, or like just kind of carefully look around there and see if I can find an area that is either not trapped or is intended as the access point to getting into there, something like that. You know, like if there was like a back door to the trap or something, or a slightly easier avenue.
Okay. Give me a survival check
Okay.
to see if you can spot that. And then what'd you get on your hammer?
Got a natural 20.
A natural 20. So after, after kind of taking a minute to really assess the weak points of this rock, you see there are a lot of, or you can kind of see like where it starts to fray and split a little bit, and you apply the hammer directly to that spot, and you just get, on this one, you get this satisfying like almost crunch as you just see the fissure open up down the center of the rock, and it just kind of starts to split open. And you can see that inside this rock, there is in fact some type of more, it's a little bit of like a gold colored crystal or shard within.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
it's something. I don't know what to do with it.
it's a rock. What about the rock?
There's something in it.
What's in it?
I don't know.
I can't see it from here.
Yeah, you should come over here.
I'm busy.
Yeah, but I found something.
Is it hurting you?
Keep digging. I think I found a trapped camp here.
I'm busy.
Also busy.
Does it look like I can pull it out?
So it looks like there's like a small, it's kind of like maybe 3 or 4 inches long and maybe about an inch or 2 in, that would be diameter.
Okay.
And then you think that if you are careful, you could break away other parts of the rock around it to kind of free it up. And then after that, you can go back in with like, better tools to refine it.
Try to do that.
Okay, make me another nature check to see if you can find the weak points of the rock. You
Rolled a 20.
rolled a natural 20. So with your check, the survival check, you're able to actually see where you would plant your feet in order to make it through this little trap
Okay.
without setting it off.
So I'm going to try and very carefully do that and memorize it in case I need to do the reverse on the way out.
Okay. If you would like, you can make me an acrobatics check at advantage. Your DC is not very high for that. And if you get above a 15, I'll say that if you need to make a hasty exit from this space,
Okay.
you can do it for free, no check needed.
Okay. Awesome. I will try and do that then.
All right, Lausian, you're up here on what is basically a nice flat portion of the embankment, and then you.
Oh, look, Felix just tripped.
I
What'd you
didn't
get?
roll great. I got a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
You only needed a 10.
Some people should ask for guidance.
I rolled a 5 and a 6.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so and you're not
I
yeah.
just rolled a 20. Like,
Yeah, it's fair.
No, it isn't.
That's okay. So you make a couple of steps across, and then as you get to the gear, you hear like a twang, and then you see this little orb bounce up in front of you, about eye level.
That's gonna hurt.
And it raises up into the air, and you see it start to blink. Blink, 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 blink.
diving, like, I'm gonna try and just dive behind anything that looks like it might be cover. I mean,
So there's a ledge here you could dive off of.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, normally I would look first, but when it's something like that, no. Felix is, yeah, he's jumping.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say here is that you can avoid a dexterity saving throw for explosive if you can beat a 10 for an athletics check.
Oh no. Okay. Great.
So you basically need to be able to jump this distance here.
Yikes.
Okay.
14,
You launch yourself off the side, kicking over the pot. Some like rancid smelling beef stew goes off into the fire, but that's the least of your concerns as you two hear poof, and then can turn to see a bright flash of light. Yes.
Excrete.
And
I
you
yell
scream
excrete as I jump off of the ledge.
Okay, so you hear profanity, you hear excrete, and then you leap off the side face first into a briar patch and get entangled, tearing up some of your beautiful, fancy pirate's captain clothing.
Keep it down over there.
I'm just like,
Shouldn't listen to me.
Are you okay?
What was that?
Should have came over here.
Are you okay?
like I don't even like bother to check on him. I'm just continuing. I got a 14 by the way on that nature check.
A 14?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be enough for you to like kind of figure out where these go. So let's do a sort of skill challenge here on this. Roll me a sleight of hand check, a athletics check, and a one more nature check. Well, we'll say you pass the nature check. So there's just those other two, and we'll need at least one of those to be a success for you to be able to chisel this thing free without damaging it.
Athletics and what?
So athletics for the chiseling, unless you have a proficiency with a specific tool set like
Mason tools?
mason tools or stonecutters tools.
No, I know.
Okay, so then that and then
Sleight of
the
hand.
sleight of hand to make sure that you don't, miss like you did before.
Jeez. Well, 4 and a 2. Okay, on the athletics, I got a 9.
Okay.
And then the other one is, it's 4.
Okay. So unfortunately, while you're in the middle of clink, 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 and you try to move to another clink, 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 the hammer slips a little bit, and you actually shatter this shard, leaving it sprayed out around against the side. But you do have about half of this rock left. You could maybe try and take another large swing and see if there's a second shard.
I just get angry and I'm and then just
Okay, go ahead and make another athletics check.
So what was? Did I finish the detect magic and
Yes.
and ready to?
So what pops up is each one of these shards glows magically. They all seem to have some layer on it. As you get close to this one and you inspect it a little closer, you can see that there's actually like a layer of dust on it that appears to be like magical dust. And then each one of the mushrooms seems to have a little bit of a magic glow to it as well. It's outlined that, but also it seems to seep down as if into roots.
Like sucking magic up or it's got magic underneath it kind of thing?
Or maybe, whatever it's beneath it.
I thought there's reasons why there's mushrooms next to each one of the rocks. Oh, so the rocks are magic? All the big ones? And the mushrooms seem to be feeding on it, so be careful about the mushrooms being magic mushrooms.
I don't even hear that. I'm just in a rage.
You're just enraged.
Yeah, 15.
A 15? All right. So in your rage, you like smash down on this thing like 3 or 4 more times, and you do see eventually some pieces crumble off, and there's one more shard inside this that looks like it might be of the appropriate size for what Felix had described to you for the interior of this. So, one more skill challenge. Nature, sleight of hand, athletics.
Okay. So, nature.
Felix,
Yes.
as you have nosedived off here, what are you up to next?
I dived off into the rose bush and kept my head down and
You avoided the
lights
trap.
Yeah. Did anything happen with the said trap triggering?
Little shards, like little needle-sized shards, exploded out everywhere, but you were able to...
Oh.
You would have had to make me a dexterity saving throw and taken some damage likely, but you were safe.
Glad I was able to jump off the ledge. Thank you.
You're gonna have to climb back up, but...
Great. All right. Yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time dusting myself off and, readjusting my dignity before I decide to try and climb up the ledge.
Okay. You do that. You eventually climb your way back up the ledge, and you are at the back here with all of the stuff that is left behind. Seems a little soggy.
Did it look like a mechanical trap or a magical trap?
Maybe both.
Okay. Are there any leftover pieces of said trap?
Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna pocket those for looking into and researching later,
Okay.
just out of curiosity.
So what you find down there is that it was essentially done to a hair trigger plate that launched whatever the crystal shard was that was on there that exploded.
Rude. All right.
While I'm getting ready to take a whack at the rock, I'm gonna have my unseen servant hold the spike on it, so I can actually get advantage when I try to split it.
I will let him give you the help action for splitting this.
And take a moment to cast prestidigitation on my shoes to make my feet warm because it's cold outside.
Yes, that's true. Okay. So you prestidigitate the warmth into your feet, and then you line it up, and you can have advantage on this athletics check for using the hammer. You guys need to recruit somebody who is who has some smithing skills or something.
It's supposed to be him.
It's supposed to be. Would you?
I got 17 on the nature,
Okay.
a 9 on the athletics, and then a 8 on the sleight of hand.
Okay. So you were able to locate some of the nicer places where you do it, but you still shatter this one on the way through.
There's throwing hammers everywhere.
What are you doing over there?
Just launch one of the.
What are you doing?
I don't even hear him. I'm just raging in the middle.
Okay, so as you're stomping around on the ground, actually, this reminds me of the intro where you're outside screaming in the rain. So as you're outside doing that, you notice something odd about the ground beneath you in the kind of ruined circle that you're in, and it looks like there's some tile on the floor that has got still some leftover residual snow and some slush and whatnot on it. And you start to go to kick it away, and you see that there's some sort of chiseling or mural that has been put into place with different rocks.
That's probably not good. Guys,
What are you doing over there?
I found something.
Was it the same thing inside the rock again?
I don't want to talk about the rock. Something else.
What did you find?
I don't know.
Then how do you know you found something?
I'm just gonna start raging. just kicking and throwing hammers and yeah.
Okay. Are you? So you're fine where you are for now, is what you're telling me?
Just throwing it.
Okay.
Over there.
I got a 14 on the rock swing.
Okay, so you are able to chisel enough off to find what looks like a small shard that you would be able to recognize as a Sybaris shard.
Oh, there's a shard in here. Did you guys find any? Oh, you blew up. Did you find any shards? Chris?
I don't want to talk about the rocks.
Oh. What do you? Fine. I walk over there.
Okay, so you leave the shards over there, you walk over here, and you start to push and uncover some of the other stuff that's in here. And you notice that
Unseen servant.
the unseen servant gets down and starts moving the snow around as Grizz stomps around in the background. And what it looks like to you is some sort of intricate, you can pass it down, some sort of like intricate, almost face of a wild animal or a demon or something of those types.
Don't show me.
He's
I'm
not there
over
yet.
I would like to grab the rucksacks and sacks and move over to where they're gathered while I'm just kind of like looting through what's left of those packs.
Okay, well, they're kind of rain sodden.
Okay.
So do you want to go through them here and then, or do you want to try and carry these even heavier because they're wet rucksacks and stuff like that?
I'll have a quick cursory glance inside and see if there's anything that looks worth taking.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm.
At this point, do I see the completely shattered Sybaris shards in the rock that he had smashed up?
Yeah, they look like it looks like essentially some gold confetti, some glass that's just kind of like around it, and maybe as if the interior of it was kind of like one of those geodes that has like all of the little stuff on the inside of it, because the majority of the shard has been shattered.
I have the servant take what bits and pieces there are and put it on the floating disc.
Okay.
Maybe I can mend it. Maybe I can fix it.
I told you I found something.
You didn't have to kill it. I found some over there if you want to try to kill another one.
Oh, no, I'm done with the rocks.
Wow, you're the best at getting into them.
I'll break them, but you can get the shots. I won't talk about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, what is this thing? You recognize that?
No. Not so far. I have to think on it.
Doesn't look very
Don't
nice.
recognize anything on that one.
On the shard?
No,
No,
on the
the
design.
on the ground.
Other than it's some weird animal, sort of druidic thing.
Roll me a history check.
Am I able to walk over there and join them, or?
Yeah, I was just gonna grab you some stuff out of
Okay,
of
cool.
what's in here. So, what
19?
you find a 19? Yeah, let me get back. So what you find is a little bottle of clear, kind of amber-colored fluid with a troll's fingertip floating around in it, like just like the last digit and like some of the nail. You see a loosely bound kind of folio with different traps that can be applied in nature.
Okay.
And you find a block of red wax that has an impression with it of a key that you've never seen.
All right.
And then the last thing that you find that it seems to be salvageable from this is thieves' tools.
Oh wow. Okay.
Spooky.
So am I over by the mural now?
Yes, would you like to take the folio of...
Yes, I will take those things with me.
Traps and snares.
Yeah.
Don't step on it.
I walk up, flipping through the book. I found a book and
Book?
sure here. What is this thing? Grizz, is this a family portrait?
So what did my history say?
So you recall seeing this in some of the old books that detailed the demon war,
Oh.
way back,
Way back.
or like the war that essentially resulted in the destruction of one of the moons of Eberron.
Yeah, this is from way back. This is from like, tens of thousands of years ago. This was the symbol of one of the demon lords that we had they had to expel from Eberron.
You would probably surmise that these ruins would have been one of the Maybar, well, not Maybar, but would have been one of the manifest zones in which the portals might have been able to be opened in the bridges between Eberron and the different moons.
All of them, or just one?
Probably just one.
And it was the one Maybar, or do I know that?
Probably don't know which one, but you would actually no, because your lineage. You would probably say that it's one from like Zoriat.
Ooh. This might have been from Manifest Zone location for Zoriat, where they would come in from that world, and I think they destroyed that moon in order to block them from ever coming again. And that was set adrift so that we are somewhat protected, but they still have servants here that do bad things.
So this is an old site of dark power.
Very old, yes, very dark. Threatened the entire life of everything on Eberron.
So,
All the continents.
yeah, maybe we'll just find a shard and get out of here.
Oh, you found some over here.
That's what I said.
You did it. You almost got him out, I think. You were pretty close. If you want to go try that one that I opened up over there.
Does it need breaking open?
It does.
Yeah,
And-
all right.
And
Okay.
it also needs to have a shard taken out.
Yes.
So if you guys go together,
Mhm.
then you can roll the skill challenge here at advantage because Lawson will be helping you through
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
And giving him guidance, I'm sure. So you'll get to roll quite a bit of die. You walk up with the book. You show him that while he starts to explain that what this perhaps manifest zone portal is.
But it's broken, right?
Man, I wouldn't play with it just to be safe.
Sure.
Let's go to this rock.
Which one?
I follow him up there.
Weren't you already working on that one?
Yeah, but I came over to look at this when Grizz said it was important.
All right, let's go check it out.
Okay.
Maybe I can help too.
So you guys make your way over to the rock, and you're able to find, like you can see that there's a Shibboleth shard in there. However, you do know that you need to not only locate a couple of Shibboleth shards, but some Kyber shards.
Or at least fragments of.
So at least something that you can, if not completely swap out one, you'll need to get a couple of these because the Shibboleth shard, again, Shibboleth shard is for the control basically off of what a Dragon Mark can do.
Yeah.
But it enhances those properties, but the Kyber shards are the ones that actually handle the binding.
Mm-hmm.
If you find Eberron shards are really good for just in general magic items and making magic items, but not necessarily for like binding an elemental. If you were going to replace the one that you needed, or the Kyber crystal, you would have to find one of those. It would likely require digging.
Yeah. Okay.
For the Kyber shards.
For the Kyber shards.
Probably underneath the mushrooms.
Maybe.
If you want to take a shot at the rock,
All right.
okay, hit it there.
So you can go ahead and roll those at advantage, all three of them. And with the D4, because he's giving you guidance on all of them.
Okay. So
He's
I need
praying
three-
for good luck for you.
Do I need 3 rolls?
So you're gonna need 3 rolls with all of them.
And then do I roll a d4 each time?
Yeah.
Okay. So this, I guess, is the nature.
And you throw advantage, so you roll a 20.
Yeah. So
Right.
roll the
5.
Okay. First roll's a 5. You walk over and he points out where to hit, and you slam down on the actual crystal. There's no point in us going any further. You already failed the first one. So that one gets shattered.
No, that's not where. No. Maybe you try breaking open the rock again.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay.
Try same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's so, Grizz, are you good at the more dexterous kind of elements, like the
21.
finer detail points of this? Because if you
Does
can,
it- do I look like I'm good at this?
if you can crack the rock with your strength, then I can potentially go in for a little more of the finer detail.
Yeah, I
points.
thought that was the plan.
Great.
But
Well, you just smash the
Yeah.
rock again, and this time when you do it, like another piece just kind of falls off, and you can see there's one more shard in there.
okay. Yeah, someone else get that. I don't want to deal with it.
No? How you know nature best of all of us though, right?
Are you pretty good at that?
No.
How good are you at nature?
Yeah.
Reasonably. Not. It's not one of my specialities, but I mean, I'm pretty. There's a lot of book smart that goes into that, so I can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple logic, you know. Green
You
things are
recall-
alive, brown things are dead.
Yeah, you recall basic nature.
Yeah.
and
I've got
chemistry,
2 points in nature, so
I know some nature.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know nothing.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can figure out where you should hit it.
Great.
Oh, I'm gonna do it again.
What type of?
Well, I'm gonna figure out where to hit it, and then
So he's saying he's going to roll the nature
Nature
check,
roll.
point out where it is
Alright.
to give you
Okay.
advantage on the thing.
Okay.
rolls? It was a nature.
So it
check,
was nature, sleight of hand,
Yes,
and the
Athletics.
athletics.
Okay.
So if you want,
I can do. The
he
sleight
can
of
point it out.
Yeah.
You can hold the chisel,
and you can swing
and
it.
you
do
can
the
swing at the
athletics.
chisel.
Okay, because I'm good at athletics.
Yeah.
So let's assume that you're all helping. Actually, you're not, because this is going to be flat rolls for this. So each of you can roll a d20 for your respective skill check here.
Not at advantage.
I will. You can have advantage.
I got a 19 on the nature.
Wait, you can have an. Okay, so he got a 19. So then you can now. He's telling you where to hold it, so you can make me a good place, and yours is an advantage. And then if you get high enough, he'll have advantage.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
A natural 20.
So 25.
Okay, yes, that's high enough for him to get advantage on.
Do I still have the D4 as well?
No.
Okay.
You guys are all taking your actions to do these things, so.
18.
18!
Okay.
So after a few like very quick movements, placing the chisel, bing, moving like bing, this yard just kind of like is able to slide right out into Lossian's hands, and you have,
Mage
and, okay, mage handed, and he's been able to grab one. You now have one Sybaris shard.
I am not putting my fingers anywhere near. He's swinging a hammer. Just that's why I'm mage handing it.
Okay. So that one's off for that.
How many of these did we need?
A few.
Okay. Anything else?
I
in
forget
this
the
rock?
exact numbers that we need.
So the others, there was only a couple of them in there, so you could get anywhere up to like a dozen or so. The Kyber shards are actually going to be a little bit better for helping maintaining the binding and keeping it. And if you find one that is of the right size, then you can have a new one. Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, you'll want the littler ones to kind of hold it in check.
All right. So we either need a few little ones or one big one, basically.
All right, how about this? I'll start with the
Of the Kyber shards.
Yes.
The Sybaris shards, the little ones are just going to basically kind of think of them like one is like stability, the other one is like speed boost.
Okay, great. So the more of those, the better.
More of all of it, the better.
Great.
And you can sell what you don't get.
Yeah.
Sybaris shards are incredibly rare. So you guys have already found 2 rocks with Sybaris shards in them. That is already a very rare
And
occurrence.
we've broken most of them.
Yeah.
I said you should have came over there.
So the mushrooms are magic.
Oh.
And Kyber shards come in underground because they're underground things,
Oh.
not sky things.
With your using detect magic, can you see larger sources of magic? Maybe the largest source you can see would infer the biggest piece?
Well, I can see the big mushrooms magic as well as these mushrooms. Big mushrooms are magic. They're all kind of big mushrooms.
And you can see down a little ways until you would until you would run out of.
Yeah,
It's like probably like 5, maybe not even 5 feet deep that you can get in there.
So, all right. Should we go dig somewhere?
Well, you dig right here if you want. There's a
Yeah,
mushroom right
alright.
here.
Yeah, I'll go up there and dig, I guess.
Dig here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grizz, you should probably, just in case of this being a mushroom, do you have a scarf or something? You should probably tie a rag around your face so you don't breathe in spores or something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
You can hold your
Sure,
breath.
I got
Sure.
some kind of dirty rag or something.
Okay.
He pulls out a dirty rag.
Getting.
Prestidigitation. Clean rag.
Okay.
No, you're not. We don't want you getting sick.
How thoughtful.
Just tying it and like ignoring it.
It now smells entirely foreign to you. So now you're here at the top, like you've got this, you can see the mushroom and you notice that it kind of like sprawls out from the sides there. And Lossian can see there's a little bit of about 3 feet underneath it that has the little bit of a magic glow to it. The mushroom itself does appear to have a little bit of magic coming off of it and or outlining it. And if you set to digging, this is gonna, because you're up on rock, you're going to have to kind of alternate back and forth between chisel, hammer, and the actual shovel. Okay, so go ahead and give me, this is gonna take you a while. Go ahead and give me a check, just athletics in general.
Really should look into that move earth thing.
Maybe.
12.
12, okay. So what are you two doing while he is digging at the base of a mushroom?
You want to go try and crack another rock?
Sure.
Come over there.
Oh, wait. No, there's one closer over there.
Mhm.
Yeah, behind the
The
big
one right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So this one, as you get close to it, you can see that it is actually somewhat stuck in the ground, and it appears to have smaller, almost like darker shards.
All right.
They appear to be like almost bluish. That's a power. It's almost out of power. It's gonna beep a lot.
Beep lots and loudly.
Can you somebody handle that? So go ahead. What were you? You guys noticed that this one has like blue shards in it.
All right. I mean,
Dark shards.
Dark shards. They look like the large kyber crystal, but the difference between this one and the one that is inside the airship is that there was a kind of as if the color had been shifted by like orange or red.
Okay.
Due to what was inside it.
great. Let's try and see what we can do about getting this one out.
Okay.
Okay. Roll me your I guess athletics at advantage because you're using the unseen servant.
$17.
17?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were able to find a couple of very good points there and break off some of these shards. They're definitely not big enough for you to make as replacements, but they are big enough to go in some of these little side areas. There are 6 total kind of places for the kyber crystals, the smaller size ones. Let's see. Roll me a d6.
And 12 of the ones for the Sibir shards.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that, any combination, like Eberron shards could provide something else if placed in there.
And you were saying when it's 60, how many we get?
I want to say a d6, yeah.
5.
You are able to get 5 shards that are kyber shards that are of decent size that look salvageable.
You want to try?
Does it look like a few more can be taken from that rock, or is that rock kind of extinguished?
5 was everything that was in it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, let's go see if we can find another crystal around here.
Okay.
Okay. You've got a mushroom here.
Mm-hmm.
You have shards next to the mushrooms over there. You have some more over here. Is there a specific area that you'd like to try?
Probably go for the shards over there. We'll handle the until Grizz has developed a technique for digging out mushrooms. I think we'll continue to try and get the bigger ones.
Okay.
We're playing Minecraft.
You're stronger than me. Why aren't you swinging this?
I could try, but your unseen servant seems to be doing a pretty good job of it.
No, all it's doing is holding the chisel. He can do that for you too.
All right, fair enough. We can try and do that.
Okay. So you got a 12. You're digging over here for a little while. You kind of like get to the point where you realize that the mushroom is not necessarily growing down. Like it doesn't actually have the roots. It's spread out along the side of this. And as you kind of like chip into the ground below it, you don't really find any additional stuff except for some of the dust at this one.
I'll move to those ones down there then. Right, the base there. Yeah.
Okay.
Another athletics.
Yeah.
That would be a 22.
22. So you end up like essentially just hacking away at the bottom of these. You get a little timber notification at a certain point as you're able to really get in, and what you do find is at the bottom of these, like at the bottom of the stalks, there seems to be some almost weird spore-like cluster that remains kind of almost a little wobbly as you end up taking out the last little bit of the mushroom around it and try to get into the ground area. As the mushrooms got like kind of torn off, it almost inflated into what now are like 4 or 5 little bulbous, maybe sacs right there next to the ground where the mushrooms were.
I've ever seen anything like that before. Do I recognize it?
No.
I don't think I want to touch that.
Okay.
I'll go. I'll just go digging up the little ones over here.
Okay.
Oh, the closer to them.
The ones on the ground over here.
Oh.
Yeah, and
All
also
right.
I'll shout over them. There's like weird things over there. Maybe
Okay.
you know what that is.
Do you want to keep an eye on them while you're?
Keep an eye on.
Do you
what-
have your
went
back to the?
them? Or?
Oh no, I don't put my back to them.
Okay, so then you'll come over here on this side and start digging at these mushrooms under here.
Same 22.
Okay, so after a little while for this one, you actually are able to find like you're in a nice field portion, right? It's the ground is damp, but it's easy to move, except for at the bottom of this, there's actually a boulder that seems to just be settled down there. And then as you kind of go about the digging, you can see that there's actually another path right here that maybe has been covered up by the snow, but where a rock hit, dug itself all the way into the ground in like a little crater, and then these grew up over top of it.
I'll try to
So
crack
I found
it.
a submerged sky rock.
A little bit, yeah.
Nice.
I guess I'll
Possibly,
try to,
anyway.
try
Okay.
to crack it open.
All right,
That's athletics.
athletics. And you two can go ahead and give me your checks for these.
12.
12?
So am I doing an athletics check with
Advantage.
Advantage, yeah.
Okay.
So as you're able to like break some, I mean, what you see is you're able to like kind of chip off a little portion of it, and you don't necessarily break open the whole rock like you had before, but in chipping off a little piece of it, you start to see a little bit of gleaming within.
I rolled really poorly.
Okay, what does that mean?
I got like a 2 on my best on that one.
Oh, wow.
I was just like,
Okay, so you also go to kind of like hacking away at these, and you start to see that they're where you have made little like impressions or indentions in them. As you kind of move to the next area or the next little space and try and like re-examine the rock or whatnot, that these out of the mushrooms, there are more like of these
No,
little.
not the mushrooms, the rock.
Yeah, as he's in there doing this thing, he's flailing about a bit.
Gotcha.
And he nicks the mushrooms.
Gotcha.
And then out of the places that have been nicked on there, you start to see like little like pustule balls.
Those
Back
Or
away
like-
from that.
Those look like spore puff
Yeah,
balls.
definitely. Like as before, like having like tying a bandana around my face and
Mhm.
backing away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Moving away.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
Why don't you zap them?
Well, let's try this first. I'm gonna mage hand like poke it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Grizz, you've kind of chiseled off a piece of this. You see it slide off. As you do, you hear a from behind you as you kind of turn your attention back and you see the mage hand reach out and touch this pustule ball, like the one that's on the mushrooms on the other side, and just goes exploding on the mage hand and melting it away. And as it starts to kind of crumble and deteriorate to the ground, all of a sudden, you turn back, look at the one that you were working on, and you see another little piece kind of like fracture a little bit and slide off. And what you make out in this large kind of like boulder that's underneath it looks to be a dark blue-ish rock cluster, maybe crystal fragment or something like that, about the size of a human skull. Maybe a little bit bigger, but that's how much is showing. And then you start to feel the ground tremble around you. You two also start to feel that. And then you hear, hoo, hoo, hyenas, which is very odd to you. You have never seen hyenas in this part of the world. And that's where we're going to break. Hello, and welcome back to Inkwell Society here on twitch.tv/D&D, brought to you by Maze Arcana and these lovely people that are dancing the jig dig hoedown over there. I don't even know what that was.
I'm hoping some people will,
Okay.
because both Viv and I do that dance. So
They do. You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Together.
not together, on different streams.
Oh.
Ghost Felix dance.
Yes.
Okay. So, we are back with episode 26, Ashbound, which has to be called that for a certain reason, I'm sure. However, during the break, Felix let me know that he did not fully anticipate the duration of the spell that he was getting earlier. So, as this is a learning experience, this is your one freebie.
Yeah.
You can have that spell slot back
Okay.
to cast that spell
Okay.
if you would like.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay.
Don't say Dungeon Master never gave you nothing.
Okay.
So, where we left you, our illustrious trio here had made their way down a 300-foot long amalgamation of rope ladder and rope to attempt a mining expedition here in the surface area of the Eldine Reaches, somewhere north of Silver Lake, somewhere south of Lake Galifar, on their way to a small villa / safe house that they were attempting to deliver the owner of the Cocoon Saloon, Hooks, in order to help him get away from the Amante Syndicate. For this, they would be given information about the Amante Syndicate, which Hooks is apparently defecting from, assuming you get him there alive. You have already survived a pirate attack
Arr.
and commandeered their ship as they destroyed yours. And now
was a
fine. It was a rental. It was a rental. I'm sure somebody had insurance. And as you have, as it was damaged during that exchange, you have set down to find the shards necessary to repair it before you can get back on your way. And there was a warning from a certain Furbolg draped in a raven's feather cloak that you have yet to see come to fruition until you felt the rumbling of the ground around you and saw a mass of hyenas, which are absolutely not from this area.
I hate it. That close? Damn.
Make their way into the clearing. And Grizz has chiseled away the exterior, we'll say the right side exterior of a boulder-sized rock he found under these mushrooms, and can see the dark blue of a Kyber shard peeking back at him. And you hear echoing through the trees, "Whoo! Whoo!" as Hooks tries to warn you. And
I told you he could hoot loud enough.
Grab a weapon.
so you turn to see the growling of these hyenas here in this area, sprawled out in front of you now.
So with Hooks kind of giving the warning and us hearing them coming, do we get any time to respond before they're basically on top of us?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what this round will be.
Great.
And you guys can go ahead and go. You don't need me to do anything for you right this moment. So go ahead and have your initial reaction.
I found the thing I think we need.
Back up, back up, back up.
Are you pointing up when you say that, or are you pointing backwards?
I'm pointing in this direction, so like that way, kind of thing. As I'm backpedaling and kind of trying to make sure that I can keep everything kind of in my visuals.
Okay, so we'll say you back up to Grizz for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put me on the other side of Grizz if I can make it.
Sure. Anything else you guys want to do besides running to Grizz?
False life.
And then, Felix, if you would like to burn your Warlock spell to cast False Life now, you can have your 10 temporary hit points.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
If I could shift and or rage.
So they're both bonus actions. You can pick one of them to do this turn.
All right, I'll shift. Because
Okay.
shift lasts longer, right? Rage
Yeah.
is like when
Shift is a minute in general. Rage can drop if you don't hit something or get hit by something.
Yeah. Okay. I'll shift. Shift.
Okay. So you get some temporary hit points as well.
I get 13 at temporary hit points.
How many do I get?
You get, for shifting, you get your, I think it's your level. And I think there's a little bit of a bonus to it too, but I would have to look it back up.
Yeah, it's not on here. I should write that down.
Yeah, you should
My bad.
definitely have that written down.
Wasn't it a plus the? That was plus what?
Might
some
be plus your-
modifier?
It's probably your level plus your con modifier.
Okay.
My
We'll just
guess.
Go with that. I guess. So
I know I wrote it,
I think that's.
but it's been a while since I looked at it.
Now, if I potentially hold. I feel like a pack of hyenas coming at us and going to eat us. They probably don't want to talk. So I think I'm just gonna, if I may, I'd like to hold my my spell action for an Eldritch Blast of like, if I get a clean shot at something coming out of the tree line that looks aggressive, before it comes back to my round, I'd like to throw off my my Eldritch Blast at that. If that's
Okay, so
allowed.
you essentially want to ready an action to shoot your Eldritch Blast.
If I may, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
It will take your reaction in order to fire it off.
Okay.
You can see them here now.
Okay.
You could shoot them now if you wanted to. If you're waiting to see what they do, you can absolutely wait and then you just have to tell me that you're using your reaction to fire off your action. And since your action is just when one of them looks aggressive, I'm letting you know that we've already met that requirement.
Yeah, okay, in that case, a shot is... I'm going to streak off a shock of dark energy.
Are they running in or walking in at this point?
It appears that there is... these had walked around because they had kind of like stealthed around you guys. These had trotted in, and this one had leaped off the side here. And this one is up, kind of waiting. And this one over here looks to be taking in the area, but these three are aggressively running in. So, did you want to use... You did use the false life.
Yes, in that case, never mind. I realize that I can't do both of those at the same time.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, so you back up, you prepare yourself, creating a little bit of an undead aura around you, letting it settle around, bolstering your fortitude, and you hear, kind of creeping up your spine, yum. And, Grizz, you snarl, your teeth elongating, and you launching a howl into the air and letting it settle back down into a growl in the bottom of your throat. And Lossian, you also bolster your own fortitude with the
Nice radiant burst.
nice radiant burst from your ancestors. All right, So, with that, let us do some random initiative. First up, Grizz. Lossian's on deck.
All right. I will. I'll step in front of them a little, like the best spot I can put myself between the. Yeah, like I don't. Maybe just up in front of Felix a little bit. Yeah, like about right there. And then can I ready like is it evade or something or
Dodge?
Dodge? Yeah.
Dodge action.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So you go ahead and you take the dodge action.
And then as a bonus, can I rage?
You could, but the criteria to rage is you either have to attack something or you have to get hit by something in order to maintain the rage.
use that
Otherwise,
bonus.
it goes away. Next
Okay,
round.
so I'll just wait.
Okay. So you wait. You set yourself out in front of him. And you start to take the dodge action. Do you only want to be 5 feet in front of him, or do you want to because you're here, so you only went 10 feet. You can go up to here without really worrying about anything else.
I'll go a little bit, maybe towards the edge of that little piece of snow there. Yeah,
Okay.
just to keep some distance between.
Yeah. All right. And next up, Lossian, you're up. And I got a creature next.
Walk over a little bit behind Grizz. Felix is supposed to being over here by this flanking person. Yes, behind more between. Move up next to Felix, next to the mushroom. There.
We're gonna get you guys like little laser pointers.
Something.
Yay.
And from there, I'm gonna cast Sumnus and drop a sleep spell right about here.
All right, give me your rollsies.
Nap time.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see how many. We may have lots of hit points. Who knows? $32 hit points. Just to let me know whether they're normal animals or whether they're beefed up animals.
So how much was it?
32 hit points.
32. Nothing happens. You cast, and you see kind of like that little fey aura start to settle down around, and one of them kind of starts to, and then nothing else happens.
You might not be effective on that.
All right.
We're screwed.
One, two, three. Yep, they can make it to you.
Single run or double run?
Single.
Ooh, they move fast.
You ready, Sig? You're dodging, so it's a disadvantage. So the first one is a 16 to hit. The second one, it's a natural 1. And then I got a 14 on that one and a 9. This is going to be a 14 to hit. Does that hit?
Nope.
All right. So the first one launches up and just rips on, grabbing onto the side of your arm, your forearm. You start to swing it back a little bit, and as you do, it catches his hind legs, kind of swing across, catching his compatriot in the muzzle, kind of staggering him a little bit, yipping to the side as he bites into his friend. And then the other one takes another lunge and leaps at you, but does not make it through your armor. So you will take... 9 points of piercing damage for the first one, and his compatriot will take some damage as well. And Felix, you are up.
Great.
And it appears another creature is on deck.
Okie dokie. I do believe that. Yeah, I'm gonna toss out. I'm gonna back up a little bit more and toss out, and ideally backing away from these guys.
Sure. You tell me where you want to go.
Sure. I'm gonna. Can I shoot then move? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can move, shoot, then move.
Okay.
As long as you have the movement, you can do it.
Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna back up further over to here, and then take a shot at one of the hyenas that are coming at Grizz.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I get a 19 on the armor class.
A 19?
Yeah,
Hits.
19 to hit.
19 definitely hits.
And then I hit them for 5.
Which one are you aiming at?
The one closest to me.
Great. So that is the one. So you kind of like you launch from behind Lossian, dragging yourself, and your fingers now through the crisp, cool air of the snowy Eldin reaches there, and you can start to pull that almost acrid necrotic energy from the ether, turn and launch it out. You hammer the one on the side that launched up and grabbed onto Grizz's wrist. As he flung it about, the other one snatching into it, and then your blast hitting it on the side. And it lets out a little bit of a whimper as it tries to maintain its grip on Grizz's arm, but ends up getting tossed down to the ground. Scrambling back up onto 4 legs, it gets ready to lunge itself again. And you see these moving relatively slow, circling about. And this one just sits and watches. And then you see, or more you hear, the woof, woof of a big set of wings as Hooks comes in and snatches one of them from the ground, launching it into a tree nearby, and then dashing back up into
Best burb.
Buddy?
Burb buddy. An aerial bombardment.
Yes, very not good.
No.
All right, first up, Lossian. Felix, you're on deck.
Let me move me to here. Oh. 1 second.
The grid is right here.
Yeah, I was trying to see it.
You're kind of straddling four right now. Yeah, okay.
There's that.
Sure.
Color spray.
Okay.
So 42 hit points worth of color spray, and they're blinded.
So is this a 15?
It's a 15-foot cone. I was setting up next to Grizz so I could blast past him without hitting him.
Right.
And then it starts the lowest hit points in the cone or the nearest to the caster, whichever. And then
Till the end of your next turn. It's blinded.
42 hit points worth, and the duration is 1 round. Yeah.
Okay, so the one that you guys have been battering appears blinded.
Yay.
Okay.
It blinks as it's kind of like turns, and it just kind of like circles itself around a little bit. The other two appear unaffected.
Okay.
And Felix, you're up.
Okay.
And Grizz, you're on deck. So we're just gonna have a full onslaught, one side then the other.
Yikes. Okay. I'm going to do another Eldritch Blast into the one that I did previous.
Okay, I'll say you have line of sight that you can.
If I need to, I can take a step to the left.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Okay. So
Which one are you aiming at?
the one that I hit before.
Okay, so it's blind,
Okay.
and I believe that means you're going to get advantage because it can't see you.
I don't think I can roll especially better than a 19.
You might as well crit fish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rolled
That's what we
23.
call that.
Nope. No
It
crit.
was so close.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, so I hit him for, that would be a total of 7 more points.
All right. So this thing's, and then he just gets like blindsided by another blast of force. Grizz, you are up.
Well, I'm gonna rage, and then Mr. Punchy is going in for the swipe here.
Where were you keeping Mr. Punchy?
Oh, did I have to ready him?
No. I just want to know where you're pulling Mr. Punchy out of.
Yeah,
Oh, he's just like. So have you
I was
built him a
kinda-
little pocket inside?
it's a
That's
good
so great.
Yeah.
You like pull out the long coat and you're like, check out my little friend.
Yeah.
You think it's his paunch, but it's actually his punch.
It's his punchy.
It's
There you
his
go.
punchy bucket.
All right. Are you recklessly attacking?
Yes.
All right.
And so, did any of them go down yet?
Not yet, but there is one that seems to be like you would probably think he's like chasing his own tail.
We'll go for that one.
Okay.
Is he raged?
Yep.
Ooh.
Have at me.
That's a 13. Oh wait. Yeah.
You get advantage against him because he's blinded.
Oh yeah, that guy
yeah.
you get advantage against without having to recklessly attack.
That would be
Either way, you should have it.
22
22
to
hits.
hit. Yeah. 6, so 5 plus 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. 13.
So this thing goes.
Punchy is just full of rocks.
Well, that heavy pin.
Yeah, he's got a
inside
bowler
it.
pin for the thing. So as it starts to like look around, blinking its eyes open like left and right, you just kind of drag Mr. Punchy down on top of it, and you smash down. Like it gives this nice as it kind of like backs off away from you that it can't see, so it's just nipping in the air left and right, and it will take its first attack.
At disadvantage.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is it's let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so
Which one's a hit?
yeah, so it actually ends up biting this one. It lands into like its muzzle just digs right into the flank of its compatriot over there for 15 damage.
Thanks, I hate it. I mean, I love it, but I hate the idea that these things would be biting us.
And then its friends, Grizz is recklessly attacking, so its friends will have advantage to hit him. The first one's a 17 on the die, and then a 13 for its advantage. The next one's a 3 and a 5. So the first attack will hit. The second attack won't. And that'll be 10 points, so 5 after halved. I will just give you them flat, and you can have them. Yeah, that's okay. And then, so both of those have missed, and you see this one kind of, when this one goes flying over, it glances up and looks into the sky, trying to clock Hooks. These two make their way around a little further, trying to disappear, if you will.
Is the one that got tree tossed moving?
The one that got tree tossed is in the environment somewhere.
Okay.
Not necessarily involved in the day-to-day process of life these days. And then
More movements.
do you
Stealth.
can you make me a perception check?
Sure. So that's gonna be a 12.
Okay. So you don't notice where this one goes. And then this one dashes at you and makes an attack.
Okay.
And it will get a 15 to hit,
That is on the money.
right on the money.
Can I make a gamer suggestion maybe to someone who doesn't know their spells yet?
Not yet.
I can do a reactionary.
You could.
Yep. Hellish Rebuke on him.
Okay, you can do your Hellish Rebuke after you take 11 points of
Noted.
piercing damage.
Okay. Now, my host, does that trigger any time, or when does that necessarily trigger?
There is an invocation
Yeah.
that allows you to trigger it,
Okay.
but right now you don't have that invocation, so it's once you drop below half hit points.
Okay. Cool. And temp do not apply for that.
Temp do not apply.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Is that a bonus action to invoke it, or action to invoke it?
A reaction.
A re-
It's on the reaction to being hit.
Okay.
Anytime it would lower you below half.
So since you use your Hellish Rebuke on this reaction, you couldn't have invoked it?
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so Hellish Rebuke, he needs to make a dex save.
Okay, I got a total of 9.
That's not enough.
Okay.
So he takes 16 points of fire damage. As Felix just kind of swears at him in Primordial.
Sounds good to me. I will also let you roll me a perception check for Hoops.
See Hook's coming in.
Okay.
This is to see if Hoops recognizes
13.
a 13.
Oh.
Hoops has a +3, so it'll be a...
I got a 14 on the dice.
Oh, you got a 14 on the
I was
dice.
rolling from
Okay.
my perception.
So as you you hear another gust, like big flapping of these big wings, and Hooks comes down, and you just hear the rustling of trees.
Nope.
As you then see him launching out from behind the ruins, holding another hyena, the one that had gotten behind you and disappeared, now all of a sudden materializes, and then makes a landing against another tree. It's almost as if Hooks is attempting to actually toss them into the trees.
Right. Just stick them in the trees.
Mm-hmm. But this time, when this one hits the tree,
A person falls out. That's what that's about. Right.
turns into a person. Felix, you're up. Lawson, you're on deck.
Okay. So I'm in melee range with this fella right now.
Yes.
My weakness. All right. All right. So I'm going to kind of circle around to this side. Kind of circle around with him, staying in his threat range.
Yep.
And if I may, can I try and fend him off with my dagger?
Sure.
Cool.
You draw. You kind of like take a side step and pull out a dagger as you're making your way, and then you're just gonna take a swing at him.
Yes, if I may.
Okay, go for it.
Right.
Lawson, what are you doing while he's
Crit.
A crit! All right, so that'll be 2d4 instead of 1. Go ahead and get us that damage, and Lawson, what are you going to do?
Looking at this one.
Not bad.
Yep, 6.
Plus
Plus what?
your dexterity modifier.
Oh, yeah. 9.
All right, you get a nice solid dagger of 9 into that.
Cool.
Catching him just under his ribs.
On the one that is hurt in front of me, I'm going to do an inflict wounds on him.
Okay.
So it's for AC of 13.
A 13 is going to be enough to get past his defenses.
Okay. For 19 points of damage.
19? All right, so he shifts into a human. He appears to be, you said it was how much total?
19.
See if you did enough to kill him outright. When he shifts out of the form, he's got blood. He's coughing up blood from your inflict wounds. His rib cage appears to be shriveled in and whatnot, but he does not die outright. He kind of turns to look at you, and you just hear him like howl in your face, and then shift back into another hyena. And that'll be his bonus action. So with his action, he will make a 19 to hit. And that'll be 13 damage. Grizz, you are on deck after his two compatriots bite at you. You are, you were using your, what's it called? Reckless?
Attack, yeah.
So he'll get advantage on 11 to 10, so it'll be a 16 to hit on the first one. And the second one's already going to hit because that's going to be a 19 to hit.
Yep.
10 on the first attack, and 11 on the second attack.
And you round down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Oof. And it is your turn.
Okay. I'll attack that one that was close, that shifted. Yeah.
The one that shifted back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if I attack recklessly, that's an advantage, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All of your attacks will be an advantage. And now that you've caught up with all of your bonus action stuff, you can start biting things too.
Sweet. So that would be a 24.
A 24?
Yeah. With Mr.
That
Punchy.
hits.
So for 11.
11 points?
Yep.
All right.
And then yeah, we'll go for the bite on him. So 22 to hit.
That hits.
Uh, 11.
Okay. So that's 22 total damage?
Yep.
So Mr. Punchy swings down on him. And then you follow it up with a little buffet bite. Getting a big bite on the back of his haunches, on his neck. The haunch of it, haunch is the right word? Is that the word I'm
Launches the back.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? Scruff.
Scruff.
Snapping him by the scruff of the neck. And then, Lossian, you're up. And I got some enemies on deck.
Up again?
Yeah?
Ooh.
Random initiative. And
Okay.
there's only 3 of you.
I figured there's more of them, but I guess not.
There are, they just go in 2 waves.
Okay.
That's what your intuition tells you.
I will intuit that I should hurt this thing again.
What are you using?
I'm gonna have to chill touch him.
Okay. Is Chill Touch? Chill
Yeah.
Touch is a ranged spell. Okay. So this will be a disadvantage?
Yep.
Okay.
Ha! 220s. Take that.
What?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Nope.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, so you crit with your Chill Touch at disadvantage twice.
Yep. For
Get a regulator chip on his dice.
6 points damage, and he can't heal until the end of my turn.
Dang.
Oh, I take that back. It was a crit. So
Yeah, the crit. You hit it too.
13 points of damage.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, disadvantage. I just rolled a 20. Oh, good, I got another 20.
Man. Okay, so with that, he like takes quite a quick beating and staggers back and forth again, looking pretty poorly. This one starts to like kind of stand up and struggle back. He turns around and then leaps off, turning into a hyena as he hits the ground and starts to dash across. Let's see if he makes it that far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5. So he can make it. He can make it here. And then, but that's his thing. This one is going to turn and attempt to bite Felix. That'll be a 18 to hit. That'll be 8 points of damage.
Okay. I'm shifting.
You're gonna
Invoke.
relinquish
Yep.
control.
Mm-hmm. If you want to describe that.
Do I even have that many now?
Hmm.
I didn't expect you to do it.
Finally does.
See, give me 1 second.
I can reach them over there.
Yeah, I just want to see if I've actually got it. I don't know what I even have. So, imagine. Let's get a closer look at Felix while I
Okay.
describe. what's
Want a
happening.
close up over there?
On you.
On me?
Kai or the
Okay.
mini?
So there is a distinct shrill cry that seems to come from within the gut of Felix. It sounds almost as if a mouse had a trunk of an elephant. It squeals and screeches. Yes. Got it.
Yikes.
It squeals and screeches until it becomes low. Kick the mic. And guttural. And after a few quick bursts, which seems to terrify everything in view, even the ravens from above seem to clear out, not wanting to witness what ungodly display happens as from almost inside Felix's chest, rising up across your skin, you start to feel tendrils latching on, reaching up, merging with your dragon mark, climbing up, encapsulating your hand, and enveloping the rest of your body as then goes in your mouth, peels back, and what you see is now nothing more than echoes and pulses in front of you as your symbiote now manifests, and you are maybe another foot or two taller. You can see little drip drops, almost like ripples on the water. Each time one of the beast's feet hit the ground, you can tell where Grizz is because his stomping is heavier, and you can still hear, but there's some garbled, almost like conversation that seems to be going on as you turn into that. All right.
I'll just flip over to the other stats.
And Hooks comes in. Let's see if he makes a grapple on this guy right here to catch this. He misses, probably alarmed by whatever the hell just burst out of Felix. And you're up.
Okay.
Here's your on deck.
Would it take my entire kind of combat action to try and intimidate this hyena in front of me, or
Do you want to intimidate it?
I mean, at this point in time, I'd like to take the opportunity to try some intimidation, but if it's gonna stop me from being able to attack, for example, I think I need to try and put this thing down over trying to scare it off.
That's probably where I would go.
But if I can try and do it so in an intimidating, scary manner, I would like that. But yeah.
You will be as intimidating and as scary as it would be to see basically an alien life form just emerge in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you should probably kill it.
Yeah, well, try. Okay, so am I basing my my natural attacks off of my dex or my strength?
So
That was something I didn't see.
Gotcha. So these will be off of your strength, I believe. You use your reaction to relinquish control to your symbiote host. You enter the state. It envelops you and all your possessions, and you can issue telepathic commands to it, which it tries to obey to the best of its abilities. So essentially, you're just like attack that.
Yeah.
So your AC becomes your charisma, and you add your charisma modifier to your strength, dexterity, and constitution. And then your special attack is a strength attack.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so I will go to attack and see if I can hit.
So what does your hand turn into?
It's kind of right now. I'm. Do I kind of look like a giant, kind of like inky black shape?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Bipedal, possibly. I mean, you can actually tell me what you look like if you want to.
Okay.
But
for this point in time, I think both of its arms are going to kind of come up, and it's just going to kind of gesture towards like that, and all of its fingertips just turn into like inky knives or like inky spikes that just dart out and back as a piercing attack.
Okay, so you basically just like kind of like lance it.
Yeah.
Great.
That is a crit.
Nice.
Wow.
And that would be unfortunately only 6 points of damage though.
Plus your strength modifier.
Oh yeah, 7.
7. All right. So you streaks out at it, and 7 points of damage. And that is on this one. All right, that's a solid hit. It yelps and bounds backwards.
Is Will to Survive a reactionary ability, or is it a is it an action? As an action. Never mind. Okay, thank you.
All right. Grizz, you're up, and then the creatures around you are going to make their bites.
Okay, I'll go after that same one again.
All right.
Mr. Punchy.
Ooh.
Okay. That's an 8 to hit.
An 8?
Yeah.
An 8 will not hit. That was with advantage.
Yeah. I rolled a 1 and a 3.
So Mr. Punchy is not going to land a strike. However, you still have a bite.
Well, that's a crit.
And then you crit.
Yes.
All right.
So. Do I add any attack dice to a crit, or?
Well, you'd roll your attack twice, or the damage twice.
Gotcha. 11.
11 points of damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it... 11 points. So it turns back into this guy. And... Okay, so basically you swing at it. It tries to leap out of the way, and it leaps right into your mouth as you bite down on the throat of the hyena. But inside, like, you feel it start to shift in your mouth as it turns back into the spongy, fleshy human. And then as you tear away, the esophagus comes out, and you begin to paint the forest.
Happy trees.
Kyle had left him with 2 hit points
Aww.
before, so he is down and out for good.
Why won't you die?
Shifters.
And then the first attack on you got an 18 to hit, and then the second one's going to get a 21 minimum.
Nope, doesn't hit. Just kidding.
No hitting.
7 points on the first one, and 9 points on the second one. So that'll be
3 and
4.
4.
Yeah.
7.
I'll double check all that stuff later, but for now, let's just roll with that to keep things moving.
Be 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're half each one.
He should be halving each one, but
Then 7.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right, Felix, you are up. Grizz, you're on deck.
Doing the same thing again. This time, after the kind of finger spike thing happens, it's going to pull back, and then the whole right arm just turns into something resembling a scythe and just slashes across of it.
Let's say.
That doesn't do so great though. That's a 9 on the dice roll.
Okay, so it kind of jumps back away from your lancing, and as you turn your hand into a scythe and come through it, or as the symbiote turns it into a scythe and starts to come through, it's just at the point where it's leaping back far enough to get away. Any bonus actions or anything?
I'm out of abilities.
Okay, Grizz.
So now I'll attack the next one.
Yes,
Next to me.
and you have these. You have this one behind Lossian, and then you have let's see, Lossian was there, it was here, and then you have these 2 that are in front of you.
All right, I'll do the left one, but closest to where I'm physically sitting.
Okay. And Lossian, you're on deck.
16 to hit.
16 will hit.
10 on that.
10 points.
Yep, and then I'll go with the bite, and that is a 21.
That'll hit.
Nine.
All right. You get a pretty solid couple of hits on him.
So the one that's on me,
Yep.
I'm going to boost inflicted wounds on him.
Turn around, reach out for him, your hand
It's a natural 20.
All right, you get a natural 20 on an what level inflict wounds was that? Second level? Okay. That's a lot of dice.
Yikes. How many 20s have we gotten already?
This has been a very heavy game of criticals. You guys are impressing me.
This is gonna be ribbons.
For 57 points of damage.
Oh, gosh.
So you turn around and you grab him, and you watch, like, as you pick him up, catching him by the, you can kind of feel as he lunges at you, you get your hand right on his muzzle. And when you do that, you start to see his eyes almost age in front of you, and the whole thing starts to shrivel and then starts to turn humanoid. And then you can see that he's trying to force himself to shift again, but then just collapses in a shriveled mass of fur and skin and bone. He doesn't even get the opportunity to turn back into something his mother might recognize.
Yikes.
And he just drops to the ground.
So he turned human before he died?
He tried.
He's like stuck
He made it
somewhere.
about halvesies. He looks like a Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Grizz gets hit by one of those attacks for a grand total of 8 points, so 4. Wow, 54 points of damage.
57.
57. Is that our high so far?
I think so.
I think that's our series high so far.
It was 8d10.
Jeez.
Okay, so then
I barely broke average.
Hook stays really far away from whatever you are. And as he starts to make his turn in, you see this guy shift as Hooks makes his approach. And then you see Hooks comes right here and vines reach up out of the ground and just pin Hooks down, lashing around his wings and pinning him down to the ground in front of the druid, who looks like some form of cannibal, if you were to guess.
Race?
Indistinguishable from here.
Okay.
Big and muscular.
Okay. So obviously not a halfling.
Not a halfling. Not a halfling. At least not in this form.
That
It's this guy.
that was the one you moved away when
Oh.
you were human. That's what I was gonna say.
All right. And then he jumps off,
Turns into a bigger thing.
turns into a bigger thing. But he just kind of sniffs around Hoops for the moment. Felix, you're up.
Cool. I had to get this thing out of my face. But
You gonna like throw it or something?
I don't have the strength for that. Felix, even in this form, doesn't have the strength for that really. So I'm gonna make my hands into big kind of like smashy kind of Morningstar looking things.
So you just turn into 2 large rocks and you go ahead and roll
Countdown.
me your attack.
So that is...
That is gonna hit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They both come slamming down on top of it. It's how much damage total?
That would be a total of 8.
8 points of damage as it takes a nice heavy hit to the head. And it yelps, staggering back, and you can start to see that its fur is matted with blood.
Great.
Grizz, you're on deck.
Dope.
It's a 17 on the first one, and 60. So both of those are going to hit. 5, 4, plus another 3, 7, 5, 12 for the first attack. So it'll be 6 points of damage for you. And then the next one was 6 total points of damage. So 3 on that one.
Yeah.
9 total.
I'm at 0.
You dropped to 0?
Yeah, I was only at 2 before that attack. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you drop to 0. So now you will roll at the begin or at the end of your next turn. Actually, right now you roll an injury check. So the way that this works now is you roll an injury check when you drop below 0. As long as you make your injury save, you don't pick up an injury. Okay? And then at the end of your next turn, you'll roll the next injury save. But if you get an injury now, then it just goes ahead and starts racking up. A 3. So as the second one clamps down on your arm, it seems to almost work in tandem with its compatriot. It lifts your arm out of the way, and it digs into the side of you, staggers you, pulling it down, and you can feel one of your ribs crack in a little. Now, you rolled a 3, so the normal time, the normal save that you need for that is a 10, right? So you take the 10, you take the 3, and that gives you need 7 days of rest in order to heal that wound. So go ahead and write down the 7 for that one. And it is your turn. So now that you have an injury, if you were to get stabilized, you would have to make another check at the end, or you'd have to make a check when you make the action, whatever your action is. But since you don't have that, you're just already injured, you're going to make one at the end of your turn. So go ahead and make your turn however you would like.
So I can still attack?
Yeah,
Okay.
You can still do everything.
So then, yeah, I guess we gotta, yep, going for it.
When I drop into 0, what happens to my symbiote? Does it go away or does it stay?
The symbiote stays until you would go unconscious, so it's 0, it'll go away.
So that's a 19 to hit.
A 19 to hit?
Mhm.
Yep, that hits.
Okay, so 10 damage.
Okay.
And then with the bites, that'd be 21 to hit.
Yep.
So 11 to bite.
All right, so it bites in. You can feel it cracking your ribs, and you are able to grab it by the jaw. Kind of like give it a little fish hook, but you get like 3 or 4 fingers in it, and you go to rip it off, and you bite into its neck, tearing it off, and it also goes out. You've done enough to completely destroy its humanoid form as well. So the battlefield becomes a bit more littered with different creatures now that all seem to have this like cannibal-esque appearance. And when you do that, you do notice this one turns its head towards you. And now we're at the end of your turn, so you gotta make the injury save. Yeah.
So it's just a flat roll?
Yeah.
16.
Okay, so you're fine. You don't pick up another injury. You've just got the 1.
Okay.
Now, if you get a 1, that's 2.
Yeah.
If you get a 20, you gain 1 hit point, and you remove 1 injury, whichever your most recent one was.
Okay.
Okay, so Laucian,
So is he at 0 and stable, or is he just at 0?
he's not stable. He's at 0. It would still take him 3 positive saves to become stable.
Okay. My turn or my
Yep.
deck? Okay, my turn. Since I'm standing next to Grizz, he gets 10 hit points.
What'd you use?
First level cure.
Okay, first level cure wounds. You got 10 points, so you don't have to make any more injury saves.
Yay. And then
So your bonus action and movement, and you are far enough away that that other guy does not have an opportunity to attack on you.
So I'll move over next to where Felix was and the monster thingy is. Not next to that, but yeah. Like right there.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
How do you feel about this creature that is behind you?
I mean the one that's in front of me?
Whichever direction you're looking, the one that was behind you.
The The one that was where Felix was? I'm
Yeah.
kind of weirded out by it, which is why I kind of moved not so close as to put my back to it.
Okay.
But I know he does weird magic things anyway.
Okay.
I saw the blackness
Sorcery.
ripped out of him and then swarm over him, so I'm like...
You did see that. Yeah. Well, guess what? Through the magic of random initiative, you get to go again.
Oh, I do?
Yep.
Then,
Felix, you're on deck.
Then that one in front of him gets a Toll the Dead on it.
I told the dead?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a DC Wisdom save.
It's going to have a 15.
Neat makes it.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, Felix. The hammers swing back around. That's definitely going to hit.
Yep, same again. And the hammers again, since that worked so well. So
It
that's
did.
9 points of damage.
All right, so you see him stagger and turn into a human. That'll stay there for now. Just kind of staggers a little bit. He looks pretty bad off. You also recall that he has only shifted once.
Okay.
Grizz, you're up.
There's still one right
There's
in front
still
of me.
one in front of you.
Okay.
You, because of what you've kind of seen now, you recognize that if you kill them while they're in their human form, they're much, much less durable. And they tend to shift more than once. So you can rush away from this one, and it might hit you. And you can try and take out this other one before it changes. Or you can engage this one, or you could maybe move and try and engage the other one.
Yeah, I'll go for the human.
Okay. So you'll break away from that one, and it will get a grand total of 15 to hit.
Well, yep. The AC is 15, so yeah.
Okay, so it barely gets a. But I rolled very low, so you will only take a total of 5 damage.
Okay, so that goes down to 2, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
I think we're supposed to be around here too. I've got to double check
Yep,
this.
half hit points are not hit points.
Huh?
Half hit points are not hit points. So 5 divided by 2 is 2, not 2.5.
So as you turn to move, swinging Mr. Punchy in a circle over your head, you lunge at this other one, and the guy snips you a little bit on the ankle, but
14.
14? That is enough for you to slam down. I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's enough for you to slam down with Mr. Punchy.
Smash him.
That'd be 11.
Okay, you cave in his skull.
How far did you move?
You have 15 feet of movement. You could make it back to the other guy if you wanted.
And we'll go for the bites.
Okay. Then you turn around, drop to all fours, launch at him, and open your painter's maw.
13?
A 13?
Yeah.
A 13 is just enough.
12.
As your fangs dig into him, you like yank away and give him the first signs of wear and tear. He yelps a little bit, and then you see Hooks struggling behind you. He lunges at you one more time. You were recklessly attacking, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that second one is definitely going to hit with like a 24. But it will only do 9 points of damage, so it'll be 4. And then you see this one turn, look at you, and then start to launch itself in your general direction, covering the ground you quickly, leaping up into the air, and that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun! The battlefield is littered with the corpses of hyenas, humans, some amalgamation between that was melted at mid-shift, and some sort of large, inky symbiote, as well as a giant owl who is pinned to the ground by forces from below. And it all glitters because there's shards all over the place. Hope you guys had a wonderful time watching Inkwell Society tonight. We will pick up right here next week when we find out what the exciting conclusion of Ashbourne is.
We should have more fire spells.
Yeah, it would have been
Why
great.
did we need fire spells?
Because they're ashborn.
Oh.
They turn to ash when you burn them.
Oh.
I would say that your criticals for the inflict wounds was pretty
That
nasty.
one was pretty nasty.
That was pretty nasty. All right, guys. I know we're a little bit later than we want to be, so has anybody got anything before we get? No? All right. Thank you guys for coming to watch here on twitch.tv/D&D. I'm Rudy. This is Kai, Kyle, and Sig. We are the Inkwell Society, and we are still alive. Barely. I thought you were making that joke.
Yeah, the bear.
Yeah, it's like a big.
Is it a bear?
Who knows?
I-
It hasn't
I-
gotten close enough to you
I
yet.
feel its wolfish smile is telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. You can't see that far though. All you have is tremor sense.
I can't see anything.
No. So let's see you guys next week. But thanks for coming and hanging out with us and spending your time watching some D&D. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I've seen your type in here before. You want to be a legend. Well, let me tell you, legend, there are better ways to be remembered. If you're that keen on dying in the darkness, that's your decision. But if you happen to make it back, you'll always have a table here in the yawning portal.